So in today's video, we're going to be going over a few updates on the used car market and then also a big update on the new car market, or more specifically, a tactic that new car dealers are currently using that you guys need to know about. Before we get into this video though, as always, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. And then if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. Let's get into it. So if you've been following the channel for the last few months, then you know that used car values were increasing at the beginning of this year, but now they are finally decreasing, at least on the wholesale front. But at the same time that this is happening, retail values are actually still slightly creeping up because retail values always lag behind wholesale values. And so this is creating a really interesting situation in the used car market where dealers are obviously not being as aggressive on their offers when they take in trade-ins from customers and when they bid cars at auction. But at the same time that they're not being as aggressive on their offers, they're also pushing up the prices on the vehicles that they are currently selling because of the difference between the wholesale decline and the increase in retail values. So all that you need to know as someone who is currently shopping for a car is understand that chances are dealers are going to be pretty soft when it comes to the trade-in value of your vehicle because they expect these declines to continue throughout the rest of most of this year. And then on top of that, don't expect there to be a massive amount of negotiation on the prices of the used cars that dealers have in inventory because again, the retail values haven't fallen quite yet. Dealers know that the retail values are going to come down, but until the retail values start to come down, on a widespread basis, they're gonna hold to so they can make as much profit on the cars that they currently have. And again, you have to remember that used car inventories are still really light. There's like a 40-day supply currently, which is below what dealers typically want to be at when it comes to day supply of inventory. And so when you put that all together, it's like a recipe for, I guess, dealers winning in this particular scenario. There's certain scenarios where dealers lose and there's certain scenarios where dealers win. And well, dealers are currently winning because they get to pay less for cars and they get to charge more for them. Now on the new car side of things, there's an interesting tactic that some dealers are deploying where they are, in a sense, basically sacrificing a long-term customer for some short-term profits, or at least that's the way that I see it. So what they are doing is they're basically telling customers that the allocation on certain vehicles is being, cut so that there's not as many vehicles being built. Or they're saying that the vehicle is just flat out going to get discontinued, or like this is it, right? So they're trying to push the customer to buy now because it's like if you don't buy now, you're not going to be able to get the vehicle. And here's the deal. There are definitely certain vehicles where their allocation has been cut, and there are definitely certain vehicles where they are getting discontinued this year and into next year. But a lot of the vehicles that I have basically had people reach out to me about saying, hey, this dealership said this vehicle is getting discontinued, are vehicles that are definitely not getting discontinued, and on top of that are definitely not vehicles that have the allocation cut, because not only do I talk to dealers that sell these vehicles on a regular basis, so I have a pretty good idea of what the allocation is like, but I also have conversations with representatives from the automakers, and I'll ask them, I'll be like, hey, so this is what people have been saying, this vehicle is getting discontinued, and the automakers can never give me like a yes or no answer because obviously I'm part of the press. But the answer that I'll get from the automakers every single time is, well, we have no, press releases stating that this vehicle is going to be discontinued anytime soon, which is their way of saying, no, we're not discontinuing the vehicle, right? It's pretty straightforward. And so here's the deal. If you are someone who is shopping for a car, don't just believe what the dealer says when it comes to allocation and when it comes to vehicles being discontinued. Do your own independent research, right? Because again, this is a tactic to get you to buy today and to potentially overpay for that car. Because if you feel like it's a vehicle that's not going to be available in the future, then you might be willing to pay a little bit more money for it so that you can guarantee that you get that vehicle. And then when it comes to dealerships, my recommendation is to just not do this. Again, this is sacrificing what could potentially be many car deals in the future from a customer for one car deal today, especially with the vehicles that people have been reaching out to me, because these vehicles that people are, asking me if they're getting discontinued are vehicles that are associated with high dollar customers that typically will purchase, sometimes multiple vehicles per year, but definitely multiple vehicles over the course of a decade. Like that is a really good customer for a dealer dealership that's going to keep the dealership in business from a sales perspective. And so I don't think that's the way you should do business. I think that being honest is the best way to go about things. And so even if you're hearing all these rumors that a vehicle is going to get discontinued, until you actually get the email from the manufacturer stating this vehicle is going to be discontinued, this is your last allocation set, just don't do it. Because what ends up happening every single time is one of these people goes in, and then you tell them, yep, this vehicle is getting discontinued. Yep, allocation is super small with this vehicle. That person goes on and they, research online, find out that not only is it not getting discontinued, but they can find the vehicle everywhere. It makes you look like an idiot as, the person that's whatever dealership you're at. And on top of that, it just completely gets rid of the chance of that person buying a car from you. And on top of that, if that person buys a car from you and then they see that, oh wait, there's now a 23 model year of this vehicle. Oh wait, there's now 24, 25. The chances of that person ever buying a car from you again is just next to none. Let me know what you guys think about these two things. So with the used car market, where dealers are able to get a slight win because of what's happening with the valuations, and then on the new car side of things, where dealers are choosing to say that there's less allocation than there actually is, and saying that vehicles are getting discontinued when they're not, to get people to buy today. I'll see ya.